What is up, everyone? I hope you all are doing well. My name is Ishaan and welcome to the video. If you've been following along on the channel for the past few months, or even since the beginning of the channel, which was about a year ago in June actually, you've noticed I haven't made a video in about a month or so, and that's because that was the last month leading up to my graduation from undergrad, and I was just super busy wrapping up school stuff, mostly academic work, taking care of my senior thesis, which was definitely one of my main focuses at the time. So I wasn't able to make a whole lot of content, but I'm back in action. I'm back with a new video, and since I was I'm starting up again after like a month, let me try a different type of video. So today I'm gonna go on YouTube and I'm just gonna blind react to a self-improvement video by Hamza. So if you don't know who Hamza is, Hamza, how do I describe it? He makes self-improvement content mostly for men, and I don't know how long he's had the channel, but I only recently got to see his videos just like a few months ago, and I have seen a lot of his videos. I do like his content, I like the message he's pushing out, so I'm pretty excited to do like a blind reaction to one of his videos. And he has two different channels. He has Hamza and then he has Hamza Unfiltered. So Hamza is his main channel where he has the videos more edited, there's like memes in it and shit. But then the Hamza Unfiltered channel, that's more of like I would say a conversation style kind of thing, where he's just like speaking to the camera about his thoughts about whatever the message he is trying to put out in that video. So today we're gonna go into his main channel. I'm gonna scroll through his videos, see which one I like to be interesting, or whichever one I think might be like a fun one to do a blind reaction to, and let's see how it goes. Why you can't do your work. You know what? 10 minutes? Yeah, that's 4 days ago only, so it's pretty recent. Yeah, let's do it. So the video is titled Why You Can't Do Work. There's a thumbnail, there's this funny looking Jeff. I think he named him Jeff or something, but let's see. This video, Why You Can't Do Your Work. The Jeff is like laying down on one side of the bed, the other side it says 2 p.m. There's pizza, gaming console, probably hopefully from a PS4 gang only. Fuck Xbox. But I think the thumbnail is trying to imply how you're staying up, you're waking up really late, or you're sleeping in and all you do is like eat junk food and play video games. So that's my initial assumption. Let's see what he talks about.
You do realize that your deadline is coming up.
Full screen that shit. Hold up, let me fix this shit. Alright. You ready? Let's do it.
You do realize that your deadline is coming up, Jeffrey. Why is Jeffrey procrastinating so much? He says he's tired, so he'll just do it tomorrow, but then tomorrow comes along and he's forgotten about the assignment altogether. He forgets about it for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. He remembers the assignment for...
Bro, we're like 13 seconds in, but I had to pause this because first of all, this is funny. Like, I really like his video style, especially in his like main channel, where there's a lot of memes and stuff kind of situation, and these animations which really appeal to the audience that he's trying to target. And I think it makes the videos much more likable, much more easy to grasp and understand. With that said, this just reminded me of school, man. I feel like this is the plight or the epitome of what a regular college student looks like. They're like, yeah, I'm gonna just do that tomorrow. Tomorrow rolls around, they already have another shit piled up, and they're like, and then they want to ask for an extension. Let's keep going.
4 days later, but he kind of feels stressed thinking about it, so he pushes it back off, plays fucking... What video games do people even play these days? Fucking Minecraft and Elden Ring and shit. Jeffrey's kind of sad, bro. Why don't you just do the work, Jeffrey? It won't even be that bad. Do you think that Jeffrey's gonna listen to us? Or is he gonna keep on procrastinating? Unlike Adonis. Adonis doesn't procrastinate his work. His work procrastinates Adonis. It sounds stupid as well, bro. For Adonis understands the key time management and productivity principles that force him to get his work done on time. Adonis will work day and night if he has to, but he doesn't have to. Why? Because he does his work way in advance. He works in the most healthy way because he understands that working in the healthy way is actually what leads to high performance. He stands out amongst all the young men and the students who are just doing it all wrong. Chances are you're part of that group. You know what's very, very interesting and valuable for you? You're watching a video right now of a guy who has technically overcome procrastination, but who is still a major procrastinator. I procrastinated making these videos today. What you didn't see, like my editors cut it out, but what you didn't see is that I pressed record for this exact video and I literally sat here for like a minute or 2 minutes, and I'm not even like faking this or anything. I literally sat here for like 2 minutes just thinking.
And here I thought I was the only one who did that, so I'm glad he mentioned that, you know, whenever you're like, yeah, I'm playing this for the video, I'm gonna say this on camera, I'm gonna do this, but as soon as the camera goes up, like all of that shit kind of just leaves your mind and you're like, I don't know what to do. In the beginning, of course, but then you kind of start to, you know, just say something and then things start to form along as you wanted. But I'm a pretty big procrastinator myself, to be honest. You know, I have figured out some productivity hacks that really work for me, so I employ them to make sure I get my shit done way in advance. Like he said, it's probably the best way to go. But even after that, man, I am a big procrastinator. Recently, I have been like sleeping pretty late, waking up pretty late, but I have been able to get everything that I need to get done, and I definitely attribute that to the habits and the hacks that I've been using in my life. But it seems like the video is going to talk about some of those things as well, like as how he overcame procrastination, how folks can do it. So I'm pretty excited to see how it turns out.
Like, oh, what the fuck should I even say and stuff? I'm tired, bro. I'll procrastinate this video and I'll do it tomorrow. I was a procrastinator. I procrastinated all through high school, college, university, and I still am. But what's weird is that I really have a huge level of consistency and discipline and success at the same time. In fact, one of the most common compliments that I get for this YouTube channel is how consistently we upload. Every single day there's a video by Hamza. Every day. We haven't missed a day in months. There is not a single YouTuber who can compete with us.
A video every day? That's crazy, because what? Well, I would have to say though, this is not the first channel that I've seen like putting out one video a day. And when you're starting out, I would say it's something that's probably not as feasible unless like you do have a lot of free time to work with for video editing and video recording. But now that he's at a level where he also has a team to help him with, you know, now he can push out more content without having to really put in the same amount of work that he did when he was first starting out. So I guess that's just something to consider and take into account, that the content that he's pushing out so frequently, part of it is because he already built a very good fundamental base in his early time of building the YouTube channel, and now he has like a full-blown team where he's able to push out frequent content.
And I'm still a procrastinator. But guess what the difference is between the way that I procrastinate now compared to how I procrastinated 2, 3, 4 years ago when I was a dumbass. A few years ago I was in university and I was studying psychology. We would get set like essays and assignments, so we had a month to do it. When do you think I started it? I know it sounds like stereotypical, but deadass I would start it like the day before, maybe 2 days before. Sometimes I literally would start it like on the day, like the due date. If the due date was like tomorrow at midnight, I would start it tomorrow like when I woke up. The way that I procrastinate now is very different. Now I procrastinate the unimportant tasks. There's emails that I haven't replied to. Like I haven't checked my emails in weeks, maybe even months. All these like small random shit, bro, like I don't do it. I procrastinate on the small things now. The things that I don't procrastinate on, which I still, you know, I kind of feel that urge to procrastinate. It's on the important stuff. For me, that's recording, reading, and journaling. One of the biggest problems for young men is procrastination. It's like you want to do the work. You actually really want to do it. You know that it'll be good for you. You just don't really end up like starting it. You know, it's like, oh yeah, you're supposed to do it today, then you don't.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Like, you know, I don't even think this is just men. I think this is just population as a whole, men and women and other folks. We all want to do things, you know. We all want to start something. We all want to work on it, but we just don't end up doing it. So I think when he addresses, of course, his audience is primarily like, you know, he's targeting young men, but I think this is something that can actually apply to pretty much everyone.
do it, or maybe you'll do it at 6 p.m. and after dinner or after the gym or something, and then you don't end up doing it, and you push it off and push it off and push it off up until it becomes like quite a stressful thing in your mind, and like you're not even like happy anymore. I can completely relate to that feeling, and trust me when I say it's actually not that difficult to overcome it. You just need to know a few key mindsets, and something will click inside of you, and you'll find that your level of procrastination reduces by like 80% straight after watching this video. The major thing that helped me actually have the ability to like be productive and do work, I promise you, you're gonna overlook this. I promise you, you're gonna be pissed off that I say this, because like a bunch of other YouTubers have said the same thing, and you're so sure it's not gonna work for you. Routine. Doing the same thing at the same time every single day. Now straight away your lizard brain is like coming up with excuses like, oh, like Hamza, my day, shut the fuck up, my day changes. Shut up, bro. Just shut up. You and I are both on your side. It's like your little Jeffrey brain that just gets loud. Like you haven't identified that you have like multiple parts of your brain, and this is like, bro, forget about procrastination. What you need to realize is one of your biggest problems is that you have like a Jeffrey brain inside of you that you keep listening to because you keep thinking that all the voices inside of your mind are like on your side. One of the biggest, most important realizations.
Okay. Before he heads into this thing, I just want to comment on the routine thing. I cannot agree more. I feel like I advocate for routines myself. If you go in some of my past videos, I think, I've talked about how having routines can increase your productivity, especially having some kind of like a morning routine that you stick to every single day, or any sort of like routine that you stick to, because it just keeps you grounded, it keeps you focused, it keeps you in touch with whatever it is that you need to do on a daily basis or a weekly basis or a monthly basis. So having routines, having those small habits set up in place and being able to do those things repeatedly and consistently, I think that's pretty powerful. Now he's about to head into, I think he's saying how there's a Jeffrey in your mind. I think that's his analogy of kind of saying how there's a shift in mindset that needs to occur. Like, even though we want to do things, we think it's hard, and we still want to put in the effort for it, there's a voice in our head that says, nah, you shouldn't do this. Like, no, there's going to be this problem that's going to arise, there's going to be this problem that's going to arise, there's going to be this thing that's going to come up, so you might as well just not do it at all. And I think, like I was saying, like this Jeffrey situation or Jeffrey voice in our heads is kind of an analogy of how, even though we want to do certain things, we have that voice in our head that says that we shouldn't do it.
Life will be when you realize that your brain isn't always on your side, and you have to stick with like discipline. When you feel like doing something, when you feel like not doing something, you cannot rely on these feelings. Have you watched any previous videos of mine? What is the sentence that I say at the end of every single video? Say it right now. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Feel. Now answer this question, and I want you to answer out loud. Are you a man or are you a little boy? Answer that question right now. Are you a man or are you a little boy?
Boy. I feel like I'm watching something that I would make myself at this point. Like, this is just facts. Like, I guess it makes sense that consume as content, right? Like, it definitely makes sense. I think I completely agree where you need to do the work, especially on the days when you don't feel like it, because that's what separates you from the rest. Now, when you don't feel like it, that's when you know that motivation has died down. And motivation is a good starting point, but when you get to those days when you don't feel like it, that discipline that he's talking about needs to kick in. Because discipline, that's what's gonna get you through and follow through on the goal or the commitment that you made with yourself. I was actually, this is reminding me of one of the podcast clips that I watched earlier today on Instagram with Jay Shetty and Kobe Bryant, RIP. But he was talking about how, Kobe was talking about how when there was a training plan that he set up for a summer, he signed a contract with himself in the beginning of it. He made that commitment to himself that he is going to follow through and he is going to get it done no matter what the consequence, like no matter the circumstances. That's kind of the thing that I also advocate for, also push for. That's what Hamza is saying as well. So if you're consuming this content, realize that you need to make that commitment to yourself if you want to change something. And you're going to have to follow through, especially on the days when you don't feel like it.
Little boy does whatever he feels like. I don't feel like working right now, so I'm not gonna work. Bro, if you're a little boy, if you're fucking 10 years old watching this video, fine. Procrastinate, don't do the work if you don't feel like it, fair enough. If you're a young man, you need to start to invoke discipline. You need to stop listening to your feelings and start doing the right things. The right thing doesn't always feel good. Doing the right thing usually makes you feel fantastic, so fulfilled after you've done it. You do realize your entire problem in terms of not doing the work, be it procrastinating, is literally just you relying on your feelings. So this is what you need to do. There is power, there is magic in routine, in having a timetable. Remember the timetables that we used to have in school? At 9 a.m. you would be in maths class. At 10 a.m. it would be science. At 11 a.m. it would be English. Your day was structured so easily. And remember, you would keep the same timetable for a while. After like being on that timetable, you kind of knew what class was coming up, didn't you? Even without needing to read it, didn't you? There is so much power in that. It's time to bring that same timetable mindset into your normal life. Let's say you're currently in school or you're in work and you come home at like 5 p.m. You need to start scheduling what you're going to do at that time, because this is so important, bro. Remember this quote forever. Every minute you spend in planning saves you 10 minutes in execution. I promise you that's the truth, and you're gonna completely you might disagree, but you're gonna agree as soon as you implement this. That means that if you spend 10 minutes planning your day, if you spend 10 minutes scheduling what you're gonna do when you have like these free blocks of time, you're gonna spend 10 minutes at the end of the night.
Yes, 100%. You need to plan some things before you're able to execute on it. Heavy. When I'm recording my YouTube videos, I don't just pull up the camera and start recording. I actually set aside time beforehand to plan the video out. I usually do it like a day before or 2 days before. So on the day of the recording of the video, like I know exactly what it is that I'm going to do and execute it exactly as I had planned it. Now here's where things get a little weird or complicated. I think some people end up spending a lot of time on the planning part, and then they don't execute because they realize in the planning part there were too many things that they had to do, so they couldn't execute it properly. I think it's essential, and it takes time to find that sweet spot where you're planning effectively for the execution that you want to do, and not spend an extreme absurd amount of time in just the planning phase, because execution is what's more important at the end of the day. But this reminds me of one of the quotes that I read back in the day. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail.
But you're gonna agree as soon as you implement this. That means that if you spend 10 minutes planning your day, if you spend 10 minutes scheduling what you're gonna do when you have like these free blocks of time, you're gonna spend 10 minutes at the end of the night writing down exactly at what time you're gonna do what tasks tomorrow. You'll save about 1.5 hours of productivity the next day. You might think that's bullshit. Your Jeffrey brain is gonna say, nope, that's BS. Don't listen to him. But again, is that voice inside of your mind right now that's discrediting this, is it really on your side? Because I'm expecting better from you. I'm trying to give you advice, and like that Jeffrey brain inside of you would be loud as fuck. I know, because if I was watching this video, my brain would also be saying like, nope, wouldn't work for me. Nah, you can't implement this anyway. You need to do that other thing. And like, I tried planning once, but it didn't help. The most important, the most effective productivity tactic ever discovered by any tactic you've ever seen any YouTuber make, any book, I promise you right now, there's one tactic that beats all of them, which is scheduling your day, having a timetable, knowing what time you're going to do what tasks. Write this down, and it can be in any way that you want. So tonight, grab a piece of paper and start planning your day for tomorrow. 8 a.m. wake up, 8:30 morning routine, 9 a.m. read, whatever you want to do, right? Now you have like an iron routine. You've always heard of the word discipline, like it's so important, but it's kind of like a little bit of like a wishy-washy. Like, what is it? Like when you think of discipline, it's like, I'm a man and I go to the gym, but like, what the fuck does it mean? Like, what does it really mean in a practical sense? Discipline is following the routine when you don't feel like it. So if you make a plan for tomorrow, if you make a schedule for tomorrow, at 10 a.m. you're gonna go to the gym. At 11:30 you're gonna come home and you're gonna read. At 2 p.m. you're gonna work on this particular assignments. Once you wrote that plan down, now you have the ability to use discipline to follow that plan, especially when you don't feel like it. Now there's a very clear task that you'd be missing at 2 p.m. if you like procrastinated. Previously, it's too wishy-washy in your mind. You were like, oh yeah, I'll do some of that work tomorrow. But if you don't say exactly when, if you don't write it down, it's not gonna happen. It's so weird that as a young man, you've never been told this advice before. You've never been told, like, don't listen to your feelings as much. We live in a very, like, weirdly, like, feminized education system, and, you know, I don't even know what the reason for this is, man, but you've never been taught how to be a man. And I'd say one of the most important characteristics of a man, probably the most important part of masculine energy, is to be a goal striver, is to be focused on the mission, on the objective, always thinking, okay, what's next? Okay, let's do it. What's, like, you know, what's next? What's the mission? What's the objective? What's the challenge that we have to conquer? To do that, to go through on those missions, to follow through on that objective, that increases your masculinity. To do those things, you need discipline. You need to do those things specifically when you don't feel like them. The reason why I say especially when you don't feel like it, do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it, is because when you don't feel like it, that is when, like, you're at, like, PR level. That's, like, when it's, like, at the right level for you. Because if you feel like doing the work, bro, it's like you're not pushing yourself that much. If you feel like doing the work, if you're really, really motivated, it's like, oh yeah, like, nice, that's really nice. But discipline constantly needs to be progressively overloaded.
Discipline does need to be progressively overloaded. I completely, wholeheartedly agree. Now, when you're talking about, like, the masculine and the feminine society, I think he's taking it in more of a very dichotomy, he's looking at it as a dichotomy, like there's only one or the other thing. But I think it's more of like a spectrum, ranges that exceed, you know, just masculine and just feminine kind of situation. So to that's just what I would like to say. But the part where he talks about how, you know, you need to be striving for goals, you should be like, oh, let's do this, let's do that, I completely agree. I think that's something that's part of the mindset shift that you have to make, and be able to set goals, achieve them, set new goals, set harder goals, hopefully, and achieve those as well. And it's a continuous cycle that you go on. Now, one thing, I guess I can save this part for another video, but I would just like to briefly mention it. There's also a dark side to this. There's a dark side to this cycle that I don't think gets touched upon enough in the self-improvement world, and the negative side can all make you feel like you're constantly stressed, you're constantly not doing enough, and you feel like you're not enough. Like, I'm saying this because I felt this in my life over the past, specifically like the past year, and specifically the past year, since I've been handling a lot of different projects all at the same time. So in regards to that, I'll probably drop another video at some point. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on. And let's wrap this video up here. There's only like a minute left.
Difficulty of the tasks that you do need to keep going up and up and up. You need to continuously make this promise, bro. You need to continuously keep sacrificing more if you want to grow more as a man. That's why it's of utmost importance that you very, very regularly, best case scenario every single day, have this feeling of like, oh, I don't want to do that thing, and then you go and do it anyway, because it's
yes, and completely yes. And when you go, he hasn't finished the sentence, but I have a feeling what he's gonna say. But here's my take: when you don't feel like doing something and you do it anyways, that's where true fulfillment, true happiness, and true show of strength and discipline comes in. Part of part of this, or one of the easiest things to do on a daily basis, is just taking cold showers. Like, even if you want to take a warm shower in the beginning, make sure, like, you know, then like 2-3 minutes you're just in cold water and you're standing underneath it, because it's something that's pretty uncomfortable. Like, every day I'm like, damn, like, I don't want to do that in the shower. Like, I just took a nice ass warm shower. Like, I don't want to pour like fucking cold ass water, ice cold water on myself, but I do it anyways, because that's where the mindset strength occurs. That's where the mindset strengthening occurs, where you're feeling like you don't want to do something, but then you do it anyways to overcome that mental barrier that's kind of present in your head. Because it's not that you can't do it or you physically can't handle it. You can, and you will. But it's just that mind telling you, oh, it's uncomfortable and I don't want to do it. But by partaking in these small habits, you can take these learnings, and these learnings are subconscious too, so you are automatically taking them and applying them in other areas of your life, like achieving your goals in academics, or in your personal life, or in your professional life.
when you don't want to do that thing, that's when you're at that point of like almost leveling up your discipline skill. Imagine you're like level 13 in discipline right now, and you've been challenged with, okay, do the assignment today, but you don't feel like it. It's because you don't feel like it that you'll be able to gain like a huge amount of XP in your discipline skill. Because if you did feel like it, if you were really motivated, it wouldn't be discipline then, would it? You only use discipline and you only level up your discipline skill if you don't feel like doing that thing. So this should empower you. Like the next time you don't feel like doing work, if you feel like procrastinating, that is now the opportunity. Like literally look forward to procrastination now. You see how powerful this mindset is? Now you're going to look forward to the next time you want to procrastinate, because that is an opportunity to power level your discipline skill. Do not let yourself down. Scroll down right now and click on the subscribe button underneath this video. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it.
So that was the video that I reacted to. Yeah, I really enjoyed the video personally, and I hope that, you know, you also got something out of the video. Overall, I think he's dope. You know, like I said in the beginning, I do consume his content, and there's obviously a reason to it as to why, because his stuff definitely does resonate with me. I come from a place, like at a young age when I was in the similar kind of routine, or, you know, time where I just didn't do things because I didn't feel like it. And it took a lot to kind of get out of that mindset and actually start working on things to level up. That is all I've got for today's video. If you made it this far into it, I just want to say I appreciate you so much and thank you for tuning in. If you got something out of the video, drop a like, leave a comment, and if you're new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on notifications, because I'm going to start dropping one new video every single week, and I will catch all of y'all in the next video.